550 homes sold every week doesn't look like there's no demand, but inventory is clearly outpacing it. And that's good. That's exactly what we want, because again, how's it going? I'm Christopher McGee. I'm the owner of Halcyon Real Estate, affiliated with the Keller Williams Market Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today is the 24th. Yes, the 24th of June. And this is the Numbers and the Nuance. This is the video series you watch every Monday or whenever you will throughout the week in order to know exactly what Utah's housing market is trending like right now. And as always, we'll look at the big picture and my interpretation, the nuance of what the numbers tell us. I'll talk about that first, and then we'll look at those numbers pulled right from the MLS, charted in so you can see the trends of the numbers over time. Let's talk about the nuance of the market right now. So the story we've been watching play out throughout this spring into summer of 2024 has been a story of simultaneously rising inventory or supply and demand. Now that can only happen for so long, and my bet has been that inventory will outpace demand, and it's looking like that is precisely what is happening. Inventory has done nothing but rise for the last 4 months, and across that time has been the time of the onset of spring. And so during that time, we've also watched demand increase because we would expect it to seasonally with the spring. But demand, which our easiest measure, most direct measure of demand in the numbers that I pull from the MLS is really, it's the number of homes sold every week. That number has really, it's done this, and there have been times when I reported on it and it jumped up pretty high, and there have been times when I reported on it and it came back down. And I'm looking at it now and realizing that it's stagnated throughout June, throughout May, throughout April, even back in through March. So demand rose as we would expect it to with the onset of spring. And so the trend line we've been looking at looks like it's on this upward trend, but you'll see that it's averaged about 550 a week, 550 homes sold per week for the last like 17 weeks. So now obviously the demand is still there. 550 homes sold every week doesn't look like there's no demand, but inventory is clearly outpacing it. And that's good. That's exactly what we want, because again, what we want is to slowly build the buffer of available homes for sale, the buffer of amount of supply that we have against the time when interest rates start to come down and the pent-up demand for homes takes this big bite out of what our available supply for homes is. And if that bite is too big, then we're left with a shortage of homes, which again shoots us through the roof on home prices. And that's not what we need, and that's not what we want. We want exactly what's happening now. Inventory rising and simultaneously stagnating or slowing down demand. Now, if demand hasn't genuinely slowed down by this coming fall of 2024, then that is when it will start to. And at that point, if inventory has continued to rise and demand has stagnated or has begun to slow down, then come this fall, certainly this winter, we'll be on the precipice of a legitimate buyer's market. Not a waterfall dive in Utah home prices, don't wait for that, but a legitimate buyer's market come the end of this year, if the story we're watching play out now continues as it's going. Let's look at the numbers. So our inventory now sits at 9,839 as of my check on it this morning. That's up over 200 from the previous week, trending clearly up as you can see. Average days on market is at 45. That was up just a day from the previous week. Still trending down, but the last 4 weeks you can see have come up, and those times that it came up literally came up 1 or 2 days. So not a fast moving trend in one direction or the other at this point. Average list price last week came to $658,849, which is up from the previous week, trending very moderately up still. However, our average sold price came to $648,772, also up from last week, but again, showing the difference between average list and average sold, still coming in the buyer's favor to the tune of about $10,000. This week it was precisely $10,077. A little further away from zero difference than the previous week, zero difference between list and sold price. But that 10K is about where we've been averaging on the difference between these two numbers for quite some time. Number of homes sold last week came to just 501. So down from the average that we've seen. And look at that chart. You can see the average really sitting a little above where it came in last week. And look at how far back it goes before it really drops down. That's like February that you're looking at. So So this chart starts at the beginning of the year. All the charts do until next week, which will be the beginning of the third quarter of the year. But this chart starting from the beginning of the year shows the lower demand that we always have in January and February, and then it started to rise in February. It got up higher than we would have expected it to by March, but really then it stagnated. So just 501 homes sold last week. That's down from the previous week, really averaging here around 550 a week for some time now. The number of homes currently under contract comes to 5,364. That's up just a little from the previous week. This has leveled out. Price reductions came to 1,124, down just a little this week, still trending strongly up as you can see. And the number of homes canceled, expired, or withdrawn from the MLS this last week into 279, up just a bit from the previous week, keeping it steady in its current neighborhood. And finally, interest rates right now are sitting at about 7.02%, up just a touch from previous week. Not much in this graph because we just started watching this trend starting a month ago. But that's it for this week. If you've got any questions about anything that I said here, let me know, hit me in the comments. I'll be happy to respond. If you or anybody you know is thinking to move here in Utah in the coming months, reach out to me, whether you're selling or buying or looking for investment properties. You know I know this market like my own reflection in the mirror, and I'll be happy to work on your team. And as always, if you want to remain educated on exactly what the right now market looks like in Utah, not last quarter, not last year, which is what you'll get with any publication that you're reading, I won't name names, then there's not gonna be a better way to hit that subscribe button, stay educated with me from week to week. Thanks for watching this week, guys. I'll see you next time.